Hi, I'm Julie with Tree of Life Yoga and Wellness. Today I'll be guiding you through this practice. It'll be a short warm-up followed by 6 highlighted poses to build strength in the lower body. And this video goes along with a post that I've just written about getting strong legs using these 6 poses. And so let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start in table position, and we'll be doing the Samavriti breath, or equal ratio breathing, as we're moving our body back and forth. So on the exhale breath, we'll press back. You can take your knees a little wide if that feels more comfortable. On the inhale breath, we'll move forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Now to do the Samavriti breath, you can count to yourself if you like. Maybe you'll count to 4 or 5 on the way back. And count the same number as you move forward on the inhale breath. Or it's not necessary that you count. If you just try to keep the inhale and exhale about the same length. And let's meet back in table. Bring my knees in a little bit. So into table position, wrists right under the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips. We'll do a few cat-cows, warm up the spine. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the tail. Exhale, round through the back, pull the belly in. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, pull the belly in, press into the palms, warming the spine, moving with the breath. And back to table. So next we'll take a cat-cow variation. So we're going to start back in Bhaktasana. So press the hips back over the heels, the arms are extended. Inhale, cat to cow. Exhale, take a little push-up, and back to Bhaktasana. Inhale, cat to cow. Exhale, push-up. Back to Bhaktasana. Now your push-up can be as deep or as shallow as you want. Inhale. And then exhale, you can just take a little tiny push-up and back. Depending on your strength or what you want to do there. Let's do one more. Exhale, push up, keep the elbows in, and all the way back. Now let's press up to table, and we'll come to sit in Sukhasana for a lateral stretch. Bring the arms alongside the body. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, let's take a side stretch. Reaching overhead with the right arm, left hand planted. Keep both sit bones down on the floor. So we're lengthening through the side body here. Keep the belly strong. Inhale up. Exhale, other side. Lengthen. Reach through the fingertips. Creating a little more space between each rib. Feels good. Inhale up. And exhale, release. All right. Next, for a little inner thigh stretch, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. You can have your feet out far from the groins. You don't need to pull them in tight. And if you are not real flexible here and you find that your hips are tight, it can be nice to add the blocks. You can kind of place them on their sides there, tuck them up underneath the thighs, and let your thighs just kind of rest against them. So we don't want to do an intense stretch here. We're just doing a gentle stretch. Just kind of open the inner thighs. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward bend, keeping the back long. Inhale, lift with a flat back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. All right, so let's move the blocks to the side and we'll come back onto hands and knees. Getting ready for a thread the needle stretch. Get a nice twisting motion through the spine. So let's start on the left. So we'll reach the left arm up, opening to the side. Breathe. Exhale, thread the needle. Come all the way down onto the left shoulder, twisting through the back, through the spine. So you can keep your right hand here on the mat or reach the arm across the back and open a little more. So either way is fine. Breathe, take a few breaths here. And bring the hand back to the mat. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. Other side, reach with the right arm. Exhale, thread the needle, come down onto the shoulder. You can keep your left hand on the mat or reach it across the back. Take a few breaths. And then bring the hand back to the mat. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. All right, so next we'll do some lunges. You can grab your blocks. Makes it a little easier to step forward between the hands using the blocks, just giving the arms a little extra length. Let's start on the left side. So I'm going to step my left foot forward between the hands, knees right over the ankle. And I'm getting a nice stretch here through the hip flexors. So you may not be, in this deep of a stretch. It's fine. If you're more here and you're already getting a stretch there, you need to do what's best for your body. So find where that position is. Stay for a few breaths there, just allowing the muscles to lengthen here. Now tuck the toes of the back foot, lift the knee, lengthening through the back leg. Feel an additional stretch here and a nice stretch through the calf as you press through the heel. Now in the inhale breath, press forward in that back foot, rolling up onto the toes, and then exhale back. So we're just opening the foot, the muscles in the feet, and just working through the legs, warming the legs. Inhale, and exhale back, getting a nice stretch in the calf muscle. Then lower the knee down, and we're going to press the hips back, straightening the front leg. So getting a nice stretch through the back of the leg. Keep the top of the foot down, so we get a stretch through the top of the foot there. And we want to keep our back relatively straight, so it's nice to have the blocks, and you can use them at any height here. Now on your next inhale, let's shift the weight forward. Bend the front leg. It's warming the legs. Exhale back. And let's lift the toes, flexing the foot. Feel that in the calf. It's fine if you have a little bend in the knee there. Inhale forward. And let's step that foot back. Shake it out a little bit. Get ready for the other side. Step forward, right. And taking a few breaths here. It's allowing the hip flexors on the left to lengthen. Tuck the toes, the back foot, lift the knee, press through the heel, opening through the hips, calf, lengthening the muscles, warming them. Now we'll shift the weight forward and back. Inhale. Exhale, press the heel back. And again, inhale, rock forward. Exhale back, working through the back foot, calf, ankle. Now let's lower the back knee, uncurl the toes, and we'll shift the hips back. And that nice stretch in the hamstrings, toes down, stretch the top of the front foot, keeping the back long. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Let's lift the toes this time, flex the foot. Inhale forward. Exhale back, step it back. Shake it out. Let's move the blocks to the side. And now we'll take our first downward facing dog. Actually, maybe our only one today. So this is going to be a dynamic dog, I call it, because it's in our warm-up and we're going to add a lot of movement. So from table, walk your hands forward about a handprint, press into the palm, spread the fingers, tuck the toes with the feet about hip width distance apart, lift the hips up and back, lengthen through the back, reach the sit bones up and back, and now let's pedal out the legs. So bending one leg and then the other, stretching through the backs of the legs, move the hips side to side, just warming up, feels good, pressing into the palms. Let's shift the weight forward and back. Inhale, let the shoulders come over the wrists. Hips are still high, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back, lift the hips up high. And now let's lower the knees back down to the mat, coming back down to table position. So now we're going to get ready for our 6 poses for the asana section of our class today, our practice. So first we're going to come into high lunge. And I'll show you some variations if you don't want to come into high lunge just yet. So let's start by stepping forward between the hands with the left foot. So just as we did for our lunges. So we're going to come into Anjaneyasana. So I'm going to lift my chest, bring my hands onto the front thigh. Chest lifted, shoulders down. So maybe you'd like to stay right here and just kind of work your way up to high lunge. Anjaneyasana is a good place to start. So you can keep the hands here or reach the arms up overhead. And maybe that's the pose that you'd like to do. If you want to move on to high lunge, tuck the toes of the back foot and lift the knee. So the back heel is lifted, the knee is right over the ankle, the front leg. Hips are square to the front of the mat. You can keep the hands on the thigh or reach the arms up overhead. And you can stay maybe just for a couple of breaths or maybe up to 10 breaths. Breathing in and out through the nose. Shoulders down. Feel the strength in the legs. Smooth, steady breath. When you're ready to come out of the pose, exhale, lower the hands down, bring the knee down, step the foot back and shake it out. All right. Ready for the other side. Step forward with the right foot. And now we'll come up into Anjaneyasana, bringing the hands up to the thigh. You can stay here, reach the arms up overhead. You can keep the knee down. If you'd like to come up into a high lunge, tuck the toes of the back foot, lift the back knee, strong in the legs. So we do want to do that from this position. And then reach overhead. Breathe. As many breaths as you like. You're ready to come out. Exhale, lower. Bring the knee down. Step the foot back. Shake it out. All right. Move the blocks to the side. Now we'll transition back up to a stand. Let's come through downward facing dog. So press up to down dog. Take a few breaths here. Walk the feet in. So my feet are about hip width distance apart. And we're going to come into a forward bend. So let the knees bend, bring the chest down to the thighs. And hands can come to the thighs or maybe the lower legs or maybe the floor. So when you're in this forward bend, Uttanasana, we don't want to have the legs straight with the back rounded like this. We want the forward bend coming from the hips. So let the knees bend. Bring the chest toward the thighs. Release through the neck. You can nod the head and shake the head yes and no. Make little circles. And now let's bring the hands to the hips. Shoulders are back. Inhale, lift. I'm going to come halfway. And take a little break here. Continue lifting on your inhale breath. Nice flat back. All the way back up. All right. So I tend to get a little dizzy when I come up, so sometimes I have to come back down, take a breath. All right, our next pose in the 6 pose series is chair pose, or Utkatasana. So on an inhale breath, reach overhead. Exhale, sit back as if you're sitting back into a chair. Pull the belly in, kind of lengthen through the low back. As I look down, I can see my toes. So my knees are not going forward of my toes. You can be as shallow in the pose or as deep in the pose as you like. That's up to you. Arm position, you can have the arms up overhead alongside the ears, shoulders down. You can take another arm position, hands at heart center, hands at the hips. And reach the arms forward. Whatever you like there. Take as many breaths as you like. Feel the strength in the legs. Breathe. Bring your breath into your conscious awareness. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath. And release the arms. All right, next we're going to take goddess pose, or it's also called victory squat. So we take our feet about 3 feet apart. Turn the toes out. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale. Knees go out over the toes. Arms come to cactus arms. Back is nice and long. Let your tailbone be heavy, dropping toward the floor. So here in goddess pose or victory squat, you can be as deep as you want or as shallow as you want. So depending on the strength of your legs or how much effort you want to put forth today, you can gauge that. And we want the knees going right out over those middle toes. If you see that your knees are kind of dropping, coming forward of the toes, adjust the feet and keep the knees pressing out. So you can always adjust once you come into the pose and make adjustments that you need. Stay for as many breaths as you like. 3 breaths, 10 breaths, it's up to you. Follow your breath. Inhale, straighten up, reach overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Take another breath here. And release the arms. So next we'll take warrior 2. So we're going to take our feet a little bit wider, wide straddle. And let's start on the left side. We'll turn the left toes out 90 degrees, pointing straight toward that wall. And the other foot, we're going to drop the heel back so the toes are angled slightly forward. So we want to keep the hips level. So we don't want one hip higher than the other, keeping them level and open to the long side of the mat. Inhale, arms to shoulder height. Exhale, bend the left knee, coming into warrior 2. So the knee right over the ankle, knee tracking out right over the middle toes, torso straight up and down so you're not leaning over the front leg. Arms reaching, hands reaching toward opposite walls, shoulders down. You can gaze out over the fingertips. And try to stay for 4 to 10 breaths. Inhale, straighten. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, let's come back into Warrior Two once again. Now we'll transition into Utthita Parshvakonasana. So I'll bring my forearm to the thigh with my palm up. Reach the arm alongside the ear. Creating this nice long line from the fingertips all the way alongside the body down to the back of the back foot. Little to no weight on the front leg. Breathe. Now if you are able to come deep enough that your thigh is parallel with the floor, then you can come into the version where your arm is reaching toward the floor and the other arm alongside the ear. A little deeper version. When you're ready to come up, inhale. Straighten the leg. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath. Turn the toes forward, release the arms. And take a breath here. Now we'll take these two poses on the other side. So turn the right toes out 90 degrees, drop the left heel back. Check the hips, level, open, inhale. Exhale, bend the right knee. Knee over the ankle. Can turn to look out over the fingertips, shoulders relax down. Stay for as many breaths as you like, 4 to 10 breaths. Keeping the torso straight up and down. Equal energy into both feet. Pressing down into all 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath. Inhale, open. Exhale, back into Warrior Two. Now we'll transition. Utthita Parshvakonasana. Forearm to the thigh, reach alongside the ear. And you can take the deeper version if your leg is parallel with the floor. If you're here, you don't want to be reaching. You want to wait until we can do that, we're able to do this with the legs and come this deep. Smooth, steady breath. Stay for 4 to 10 breaths. Engage the core muscles. Inhale, lift and straighten. Exhale. Take a breath here. Release the arms. Turn the toes forward. And now let's grab our blocks for the next pose. You may want to use them and maybe not. We'll just have them right here in front of us. So we're going to come into Prasarita Padottanasana, standing straddle forward bend. So we want to slightly pigeon toe the feet if that feels all right for your ankles, or at least have the feet parallel to each other. Drop the tailbone, nice and long through the back. Inhale, lift the arms to shoulder height. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips with a flat back. Bring the hands to the thighs. Keeping the back nice and long. Keep the head right in alignment with the spine. So in this pose, we want to keep the back nice and long, and we don't want to round through the back. So we can gauge that. You can always reach back with your hand to feel if the vertebrae in your low back are popping up, like you're rounding. If they are, you want to lift up, back up a little higher. So everyone's flexibility will be different. Maybe you want to stay right here. Maybe you will come forward to the blocks. And your blocks can be at several different heights. So you can be here, maybe here, or here. It's fine to have a little micro bend in the knees. Maybe you don't need the blocks. Maybe your hands can come to the floor. But resist the urge to let the back round. keeping the back nice and long. Find a sweet spot. We'll stay for a few breaths. Staying long through the neck, so you want to tuck the chin in toward the chest slightly. Now when we're ready to come out of the pose, you can bring the hands to the thighs or reach the arms out from the shoulders. Inhale, lift with a flat back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Release the arms. Let's walk the feet in. And we'll turn back, come to the top of our mats to transition down to the floor. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward bend. Plant your hands and let's step back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, lengthen. Exhale, lower the knees down. And let's come to sit, with our legs out in front of us. And we'll come down onto our backs for a few cool down poses, followed by a brief Shavasana. So we'll come all the way down, extend the arms out into a T position, getting ready for Jatara Parivartanasana, twisting pose. Bring the knees into the chest. Inhale. Exhale, take the knees over to the left, keeping the shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale. Exhale, release. Bring your one hand onto each knee for Apanasana. Inhale, squeeze the knees in. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders. Inhale, head down. Exhale, knees move away from the chest. Let's do that once more. Inhale, knees come into the chest. Exhale, lift the head, coming up into a little ball. Inhale, head down. Exhale, release the feet to the floor. Let's take a full body stretch here. And we'll get ready for a brief guided Shavasana. So I'm going to come to sit, but I'd like you to just stay lying on your back. Prepare for Shavasana. So just stretch out, let the legs relax and fall open. You can have your legs about as far apart as the width of your mat. And arms out alongside the body with the palms up. Just let the fingers curl up as you relax. Close the eyes. Soften the muscles in the face. Let the eyes just be very softly closed. Relax the jaw. Soften your belly. Notice the rise and fall of the chest and belly as you breathe. Just let your body just melt into the floor. Feel the weight of your body supported by the floor. You may be able to feel the beat of your heart. And now gently bring movement back into the body, so wiggling through the fingers and the toes. Take a full body stretch with a deep breath. Bend the knees, plant your feet, and roll over onto your right side. And here on the side, let's take a few conscious breaths. Support your head with your arm. Using the strength of your arms, press yourself back up and let your head be the last thing to come back up. It's nice and slow. And come back into a comfortable seated position, sitting with a nice long back. Let your chin just tuck in slightly toward the chest. You can have the eyes closed or just a soft gaze down toward the floor. Let's take a breath together as one. You can reach the arms overhead with me if you like. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring the hands together at heart center. And I like to finish class by saying Namaste, which means the light within me acknowledges and honors the light within you. Thanks for joining me today. Namaste.